attachment theory. You're familiar with attachment theory?
Mm-hmm. Well, are you
Okay.
asking if I'm familiar with it?
Yeah. Are you
Oh,
familiar with
like different
attachment theory?
attachment styles and stuff like that, or just
Yeah. The attachment styles and everything like that. Avoidant,
yeah, I'm like
anxious, secure.
I'm kind of familiar with it, but I haven't like fully dug into it.
Okay, a lot of people say that. A lot of people have heard the term. I feel like it's thrown around a lot of places on social media. So, attachment theory, in a nutshell, you have essentially three different kinds: anxious, avoidant, and secure. They got the notepad out. This guy taking notes. Yeah, anxious, avoidant, and secure. Two of those, anxious and avoidant, those are your insecure attachment styles, and obviously, secure is your secured attachment style. So throw all this in a nutshell. Secure people, they were loved enough, hugged enough, told they were good enough. They succeed. They have a good internal safety net. They are able to create healthy boundaries. They're able to express themselves because they come from that family background. And just to note, a lot of our attachment styles formulate between the ages of like 2 and 6.
Mm.
They Everything's on a spectrum. Depending on the event that happens in your life, you can sort of be like, I'm secure, but I sort of lean a little bit avoidant, or I'm secure, but I sort of lean something anxious sometimes. And just the same way with any attachment style, you don't live in it. It's not permanent. It's always static. It can always be ever changing. Like, I'm a recovering anxious attachment myself, so this is something I definitely dug into. Anxious people were the ones who were these were the ones who that's a kid sitting by the door waiting for his dad to come and pick him up, and he never does. The abandonment issues, right?
Mm.
Those are the ones that suffer from that. And because of that abandonment, when they find love, they cling on to. These are the clingy people in the relationship, right? Like, these are
Mm-hmm.
the ones that don't go. They will stand in the doorways and be like, babe, we got to talk. Or, if it comes out in women, they're like, no, they're grabbing their guy's arm, or, their partner's arm, and just like, no, we've got to work this out. And then you have the opposite, which is avoidant people. And these are the kids that were usually neglected by one or more parents. They weren't hugged enough. I always say this: they weren't hugged enough either physically or mentally and emotionally, right? These are the kids
Mm-hmm.
that, um, hey, Junior, you gotta hit a home run. And then the kid hits a home run and he's like, Dad, I hit the home run. He's like, but you didn't hit 3, you didn't hit 4, like, or again, they like, their parent wasn't emotionally receptive to them, so they don't know how to do it. So they're more islands. They know how to survive more so on their own. They're a little bit less trusting than people. And these are the ones, when there's a problem in the relationship, they're the first ones to pull away and sort of take that space.
I feel
And
like I'm being called out
10,
right
well,
now.
well, we're gonna learn together. We're gonna learn together, Rasa. That's what we're gonna do today.
Oh no,
But when
I'm
that
in the
happened,
chair, huh?
so what'd you come to therapy for today? Let me just flip the script on you. How about that? But them and anxious people, they tend to find themselves in life and tend to do this like push-pull dynamic where one pulls away, the other pushes towards it. And as they push towards, the other one pulls away, and it formulates this like very nasty, these are the toxic relationships you tend to see, because this doesn't happen with secure people. Secure people can match with an anxious person or an avoidant person, and they'll be like, no, this is enough. I'm okay. Thank you, though. Like, this has been a great relationship. Or, obviously, I think you need some time. I'm going to let you have that. Like, they will overly communicate and be like, hey, I am not just ghosting you. I am taking this move, and here's why I'm taking this move. They will explain things to you because they had things explained to them. Nobody left them. Nobody but like, that's such a small majority of people. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
us weren't loved correctly in our youth. And what that all boils down to, why I bring attachment theory up, is because those are the shells that really help us understand that really everything stems from childhood trauma. And it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be big, and it doesn't have to be huge. The same chemical reaction happens. I've explained this time. I love explaining this because the same chemical reaction happens in my brain if I got a spanking as a kid and I didn't feel I deserved it. Then the same chemical reaction happens in your brain if you saw your friend get shot. It's the same chemical reaction. Like, there's not like more chemicals that happen in my brain than in your brain, right? The only difference is that, like a bomb, right? Like an explosion, mine was like a firework, and yours was like a C4 on a city block. right?
Mhm.
Like it is those are two explosions. Yeah, explosions happened, but yours is more impactful, and it needs more cleanup. It needs more attention to it. And that's the same thing that happens with people. There's always these events that happen in our youth that will get triggered as we get older. And so, like, where it's like, hey, this guy, and he's spending too much time out with his friends. It's like, that's an issue. Let's correct that. But also, like, what's the bottom line issue? Like, where does it stem? Did you have this problem with the previous boyfriend? And did you, like, were you let's bring it back to childhood real quick. Did you ever feel like this as a child? Or when is the first time you remember feeling like this? How old were you? When you can break that down, you disarm the rest of the bombs that go on down the line. And it no longer is
Mm.
a landmine that a partner feels like they're walking in. They feel like it, because it's tough when you don't know somebody, or when you only know somebody 6 months. You could walk into a landmine field and explode, and you didn't realize that was there, because that's not supposed to be there. Because that's
Hmm.
not when you walk in a field, they're not there. Like, you're like, oh, I'm just doing what I normally do, and I think it's okay. But for somebody else, it may not be, because it's something. It's usually 99% of the time not related to anything you did. You just stepped on a landmine that's attached to something else at the beginning. And so that's my rant over. Rant over. But trauma, childhood trauma, is essentially
That
what we
was a
all want to
master
go
class. What do you mean?
to.
I'm sitting here
And
taking notes and everything.
insane.